those who have not heard of Dream Center might have heard of them after New Year's Eve because of a clip that has gone viral. And it shows you on stage in the congregation doing a popular dance called swag surfing. This dance is very
Yes,
popular. We hear it at homecomings, we hear it at football games, we hear it in nightclubs.
yes,
Sometimes you specifically
yes.
in your sermon, I have not been to a club before the song came on. So for those who have seen the clip, can you give us a little bit of context of what this clip was all about, what came before it and what came after it?
Well, again, thank you for allowing me to talk about it. Our church is going to be 18 years old on the 17th of this month. So we're about to be 18. We're celebrating just what God has done over these past 18 years. And so what people saw on New Year's Eve was not some uh, contrived new kind of something that we were doing. We actually started our church, and if you'll look at what we call the 7 pillars of our church, one of the main things is that we are called to change the world's expectation of the church. Faith is it's my conviction that when people walk into church, that it should not be as if they walked into a foreign country. That church should have some point of relativity where when people walk in, they feel like, okay, this does actually have something to do with my life. And so from day one, we've been fusing what some would consider to be secular songs into the sacred space, because my conviction is that what's happening in the streets needs to be at the forefront of what we're talking about in the sanctuary. And so, you know, what a lot of folks got a wind of on New Year's Eve, that's been our flow for the past 18 years, which is why the room was slam packed twice. The service that you saw was the 10 p.m. service. We had already had service at 8 o'clock, and at 12 o'clock, they were sitting all around the stairs. And it's just been an incredible thing that the Lord has done in our church. And my conviction about this again is that we cannot let the devil have culture, that it is our responsibility as the Christian community to redeem everything. And so you'll see us swag and surf. You'll see us walk it out in the sanctuary because it's our responsibility to redeem everything, especially as relates to culture. So that's what you got a sneak peek of. You got to come and see us on a Sunday. I'll be dressed up this Sunday. I look like a real bishop this Sunday. So if you want to come at 10 or 12. So,
Well, there was no doubt that there was a lot of energy at the church. For those who have not seen the service, I know it's posted on YouTube, and you can go through and see the traditional worship service and the sermon. But you know, I kind of want to get back to this moment because that was the 30 seconds that went viral that a lot of people saw. And one
right.
major critique that I've seen through the comments and things was there was the song that was played with certain lyrics that had referenced alcohol or smoking that played in the church. And some people wondered, why were those lyrics included in this portion in that celebration?
Well, the first thing I want to say to you is we did use the clean version. And I was actually preaching out of Acts chapter 3. I preached a message a while ago out of Acts chapter 2 that talked about what happened on the day of Pentecost. And this is what you saw firsthand. What made the ministry of Peter so powerful at Pentecost was that people who were unchurched heard the message of the gospel in their language. One translation says in their native language or their native tongue. I think one of the things that the church has to do better is we have to stop speaking foreign languages when we're trying to communicate the message of the gospel. And so we use the clean version. And I taught a message from Acts chapter 2. You'll know this song, Blame It on the Alcohol. And the scripture talks about where they said, these people are not drunk as you suppose. And I want to say that what y'all thought y'all saw is not really what you saw. The Spirit of God was there, and the power of God was present, so much so that 150 people said, I gotta have this in my life.
Mm.
That's the miracle of our New Year's Eve service. Not that the room was jam-packed, but that the altar was filled with people, young people, some older. Of course, you look at our church and everybody goes, "Oh, it's full of young people." No, we got mothers, and if you'll look closely, the mothers were swag surfing too. So it was an amazing time, and the presence and the power of God was there. And this is why I'm at peace, even though there's some people who are upset. And I mean, you would be amazed at the things that I've been called on the internet.
Mm.
Some people are up in, I mean, in a tizzy, but the presence and the power of God was there. And God never shows up in a place that he does not approve. And so, for those of you who saw the 30-second clip and you thought, wait, this ain't right, I want you to meet me Sunday at 10 or 12 so you can get a glimpse of what God is really doing. And I really believe that all of this was orchestrated. I believe it's divine because there are people who've been wanting to get closer to God, but they just haven't found a place where they fit. Well, let me say welcome home to the Dream Center Church of Atlanta.
And you all have certainly made a mark here in Atlanta. Like you said, you've been here. This is not your first New Year's Eve service by any means.
Yeah.
Message to those who grew up in the church and this is their first time seeing swag surfing in the sanctuary with the congregation. And they just, can't believe what they're seeing right now. This is it doesn't seem right.
I
What's your
mean, it
message?
just, my message to them again is this: we redeem everything. The devil can't have swag surf. We redeem it. We took it back. He can't have walk it out. We redeemed that. We took it back. And I think the church has to be at the forefront of reclaiming culture for Christ. And that's what our church has been about. I preached for maybe 2 or 3 months last year talking about our responsibility to go into every area, every sphere of life, and to reclaim it for the cause of Christ. That we've given over the internet, we've given over the radio and TV to this anti-Christ culture. And I believe that the Christian should be in the middle of all of it. And so that's why you saw that in the sanctuary. We redeemed that. We took that back. You can't have that. I can be Christian and swag surf. I can be saved, sanctified, and full of the Holy Ghost and still walk it out. And we're demonstrating this balanced Christian life that some folks have just never been exposed to. And sometimes when people have not been exposed to a thing and they don't understand the thing, there's this temptation to criticize a thing. But I tell you this, the numbers don't lie. As the young people would say, we got receipts. There are thousands and thousands of people who were done with church, who are now coming back to church, and not just to the Dream Center, but they're coming back to Christ. They're developing their own personal relationships with Jesus. And that's what this was all about. And of course, somebody took out a phone and posted a clip of a 30-second clip, and people have taken 30 seconds to summarize 18 years. And so I just want people to just pause for a second. I know that it may have been alarming to you, but I want you to pause for a second and go back and watch the entire service so that you can hear the word, the prophetic word that God gave me. I was preaching out of Acts chapter 3, where Peter and John were ministering to this lame man who was at church begging. And his daily routine was to go to church and beg. Well, he came in contact with prophetic ministry, which is our church. Our church is a prophetic house. The whole walk it out and swag surf, none of that was planned. It happened as the Spirit of God was moving. And yeah, we had a DJ, it was New Year's Eve, and we had some pre stuff. And so the DJ was in place, and And as I started ministering prophetically. That's what happened. Now I know church folk, they're used to prophetic ministry happening much different from that. But
Mm.
there was such a liberty and a freedom in the room that you cannot deny. Don't judge what you saw off of 30 seconds. Go back and watch the full message, and I guarantee you, you will hear the voice of God speaking to you concerning 2024. It's supposed to be the best year of your life so far. And there were two things that the Lord said we had to do. Number one, we had to watch the prophet. We had to give our attention to prophetic ministry, that this is not the year to be in and out of church, that you got to be consistent in your service to the Lord. And then the second thing was you had to work the prophecy. Here comes the walk it out, because Peter grabs this lame guy by the right hand and tells him to stand up and walk. And the word of the Lord was, this year you got to work the prophecy. You got to walk it out. And you're not going to have to walk it out alone. There are people around you that God has sent to help you walk it out. And so that's how we got there. This wasn't some manipulated thing that we did trying to go viral. This was prophetic ministry at its best that's been misjudged because of a 30-second blurb. I want you to go back, watch the entire message, and let the Spirit of God speak to you. And I believe 2024 is going to be the best year of your life so far. Thank you for letting me preach on this interview. I'm just preaching. I need an organ. I need a
Like somebody might cut it and put it in the background. I have one more question before I let you go. It's from my understanding, from your explanation, you all were not doing
yes.
on purpose to go viral, to get likes and clicks, to potentially bring people into the church house. And it's to my understanding that you wouldn't have changed anything about this service, would you?
Oh, absolutely not. I heard from God, and 150 people responded not to me. They responded to the Spirit of God. And some people say, "Oh, you're being prideful." I'm not being prideful. I'm celebrating the fact that before we started church, there were 150 people who were out of relationship with Jesus. And when we ended church, there were 150 people who had made a commitment to walk with God. I wouldn't change a thing. And listen, I'm sitting here talking to you about our church and about our ministry.
Mhm.
I would not change a thing. Of course, I I my intention was not to offend anyone, and for that, I'm so sorry. But I obeyed God, and I'd do it again. We're gonna walk it out. That's not the first time that we've used what some people would consider to be secular songs
Mhm.
in the sacred space,
Mhm.
because I'm sanctified. I am sanctified. When I put my hands on it, then it becomes sacred. And see, that's what we don't understand. We want to let the devil, that's why our children are going crazy, because we let the devil have that. He can't have this generation.
Mhm.
And my conviction, my confession is Atlanta's not going to hell with me and my family living here. 150 people are walking with God today.
Mhm.
I wouldn't change a thing.